You know that feeling when you're at a party, someone asks, "So what do you do?" and your mind just goes completely blank? Well, in this explainer, we're going to give you the tools to answer that question with total confidence. And we'll even cover how to ask it so you sound natural and fluent in English.
I mean, let's be real, we've all been there. Whether you're at some networking thing or just a casual get-together, that question always comes up. It seems so simple, but answering it well, that can be surprisingly tough. If you nail it, you kick off a great conversation. But if you stumble, it can get, well, a little awkward.
Okay, so before we even get into talking about ourselves, let's flip the script for a second. Let's start with how to ask someone else about their work. Because how you ask makes a huge difference in how the whole conversation feels. It's not just about the words, it's about sounding natural, engaged.
Okay, check this out. This is a perfect example of where your English textbook might not be telling you the whole story. What is your job? It's 100% correct, but in a real conversation, it sounds a little stiff, maybe even like an interrogation. Native speakers will almost always go for something more casual, like, "So, what do you do?" It's a tiny tweak, but man, it completely changes the vibe.
And really, it all kicks off with a friendly greeting. Before you even jump into the job talk, a simple, "Hey, how's it going?" just sets this relaxed, open tone. It shows you're actually interested in the person, not just trying to figure out their job title. It makes the whole thing feel way more genuine.
All right, so you've broken the ice, you've asked the question like a pro, and now the spotlight's on you. This is where having some powerful words in your back pocket can make you really stand out. Instead of just saying, "I do this," let's look at some verbs that'll add a really professional and dynamic feel to your answer.
First up, we've got the word implement. This is such a fantastic action verb. It's not just about doing something, it's about making something happen, turning a plan into reality. So instead of "I follow the new sales plan," you could say, "I implement new sales strategies." See how that just sounds more proactive, more impactful.
So, what do you implement? Well, a lot of the time it's policies. Just think of these as the official playbook for a company. When you put these two words together, you get a really strong statement. For example, "I implement new safety policies across all our branches." That is so much more powerful than just saying, "I make sure people follow the safety rules."
Now, if you're in any kind of leadership role, oversee is a fantastic word to have. It feels like a step up from just managing. It suggests you've got a higher level of responsibility, you're focused on the bigger picture. When you say, "I oversee the quality control department," it shows you're not just in charge, you're the one ensuring everything is done right.
Now, supervise is like the close cousin of oversee, but there's a key difference. Supervise is much more hands-on, more focused on the people. You supervise a team, guiding their daily work. You oversee a project, making sure the whole thing stays on track. Both are great words, but they paint slightly different pictures of what you do.
Okay, let's talk about scale for a second. Imagine you're a senior manager and you have a ton of people reporting to you. How do you say that in a way that sounds impressive, but also totally natural?
Now, here's a phrase that can sometimes trip people up. "Under me." Might sound a little hierarchical or something, but honestly, in a professional setting, it's a completely normal and common way to describe your team. It's really just shorthand for, "I have 1,500 employees who report to me." It's clear, it's concise, and it's perfectly fine to say.
So we've got the language for talking about your job, but what about the language of success itself? Because, talking a good game is one thing, but what are the real habits and qualities that actually drive your career forward? This is about more than just what you say. It's about who you are at work.
Right. This is where we start thinking about the long game. It's not just about describing your current job well, it's about showing that you're ready for the next opportunity. Real career success isn't just about doing your job, it's about proving you have those qualities that make you a valuable and promotable part of the team.
Now, this stuff might look like common sense, but you'd be surprised how often it gets overlooked. Things like just being reliable or having a positive attitude, that's the foundation of a great professional reputation. But the one I really want to highlight, that willingness to learn. In the world we live in today, that is the superpower that will keep your career moving up. And a huge piece of that learning puzzle is being open to feedback. Look, nobody loves hearing criticism, right? But if you can master this simple 3-step process, listen with an open mind, ask questions, and then actually do something about it, you will be so far ahead of the curve. Showing you're coachable and you want to improve is one of the most valuable things you can do for your career. So, to bring it all home, the key takeaway here is that the language you use to talk about your job really matters. It's not just about passing along information, it's about shaping how people see you and creating new opportunities for yourself. With the right words, you can tell a much more powerful story about who you are and what you can do.
So, as we close this out, I want to leave you with a little challenge. The next time someone asks you what you do, don't just give them your job title. Tell them a story. Use the language we've talked about today to paint a picture of your value and your potential. Because how you talk about your job, that's the very first step in building the career you really want.